Today we have a esteemed guest with us, Prithviraj Chauhanji, former Maharashtra CM, is with us. Uh, Good evening and welcome to you, sir. And
Thank you.
thank you. And Prithviraj Daji Sahib Chauhan, I want to give an introduction to all the youth because he's been a political leader, 17th Chief Minister of Maharashtra from 2010 to 2014. Chauhan Sahib was a graduate from BTS Pilani and also at University of California, Berkeley in mechanical engineering. He spent time working in the field of aircraft instrumentation and designing audio recorders for anti-submarine warfare in the US before returning to India and becoming an entrepreneur in 1974. Referred to in media as a technocrat with a clean, non-controversial image, a low-profile leader, Chauhan Sahib served as a Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office in the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, Ministry of Personal, Public Grievances and Pensions. Chauhan Sahib was also General Secretary of the AICC Congress Committee in charge of many states including Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Haryana, Gujarat, Tripura and Arunachal Pradesh. You've been an architect at the Civil Nuclear Liability Bill with Dr. Manmohan Singh. You were first elected in Lok Sabha in 1991 and followed up with subsequent elections. Chauhan Sahib, you have held 5 portfolios in the UPA government that includes the Ministry of Science and Technology. You also became a Chief Minister in 2010 at the instance of Congress President Sonia Gandhi, succeeding Ashok Chavan, and you resigned as a Chief Minister in Maharashtra after the ruling NCP Congress alliance split in the state. You worked briefly in the US as a design engineer, working on defense electronics, anti-submarine warfare, computer storage systems, and computerization of Indian language. So I would like to ask you as a first question, is the post-Operation Sindoor, why Indian National Congress agreed to be part of the delegates when the leader of the present political dispersion do not leave a slightest opportunity to insult either LOP Shri Rahul Gandhi, your West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, and other opposition leader. Why should there be a part of a political, kind of a panel when the party itself or and the government itself is not very encouraging to the opposition members?
Thank you very much for having me. First of all, let me reiterate that when the nation calls in a grave crisis like we faced post Pahalgam, it is the duty of every citizen to lend hand in whichever way one can do it. You'll remember in the all-party meeting, all opposition parties gave wholehearted support to the government, whatever our political differences may be. Because in a national crisis, the country has to be together and has to appear to be together and has to show to the world that we are together. There are no differences between us. Now, a bipartisan diplomatic effort, like the sending of multi-party delegation, is not something new. There is an instance right from every conflict that we had. We have utilized this in various different ways that we could do it. I will just give you one instance. In 1971 Bangladesh war, then Prime Minister late Indira Gandhi utilized opposition leaders to plead India's case, to tell the world about the atrocities of Pakistan in East Pakistan, then now Bangladesh. She sent Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the leader of opposition, to USA. She sent Bhupesh Gupta, MP of the Communist Party, to Soviet Union. She sent Pilu Modi, the leader of Swatantra Party, to Europe. She sent N.G. Gore, leading socialist leader from Maharashtra, to various socialist countries. And it is not in public domain, but if I can quote an interview recently by Shri Yashwant Sinha, a public interview given a couple of weeks back, where he says that as a government servant, Yashwant Sinha was an IS officer, as you know. He was posted in Germany, in Bonn, and that time, during the 1971 war, Jayaprakash Narayanji came to Germany to meet Willy Brandt, the then Chancellor of West Germany, at the behest of Indira Gandhi. It was probably a secret, secret foray, because it is not in the public domain. But if you believe Yashwant Sinha, even Jayaprakash Narayan was used by Mrs. Gandhi to plead India's case abroad. And as you know, Jayaprakash Narayan was a tall leader of Socialist International. He had personal equation with people like Willy Brandt and others. He went there. So this is not the first time. Every government, every prime minister uses an all-party, non-bipartisan efforts to solve our India's problems, whether it is a internal security issue like Naga problem, where United Front Prime Ministers use Pilot G to talk to Nagas abroad in a secret meeting. Pilot G handed over baton to Swaraj Kaushal Ji, BJP leader. So this is going on. Manmohan Singh held, when he was the Prime Minister, held roundtable conferences to resolve Kashmir issue. When all political leaders were taken to Kashmir and in Delhi, two roundtable conferences happened. It is bipartisan diplomacy useful tool either to plead India's cause abroad or to solve internal problems within. So government sent a large delegation, almost 59 member, 7 delegations of 59 members. I personally think that the delegations could have been constituted little more subtly, with little more finesse, without bringing partisan politics in it, but it was not so. And so it's very sad. But Congress party, in spite of being insulted, took part in the delegation because it was a national call. Now, whether the delegations were successful, I think that's a different issue altogether. And it is not for the delegations to decide who they meet. It is for our foreign missions, our embassies and high commission to fix meetings. And when I see the list of people who they meet, it's a pathetic effort by MEA. No senior government, head of government or decision maker, policy maker seems to have met the delegations. Who met them? The friendship groups, India-France friendship group, India-US friendship group, MPs of those groups who are already positively disposed towards India, they met. Did they meet any senior decision makers? No. I think only person of consequence that 7 delegations I could discern was J.D. Vance, Vice President, he received the Indian delegation. They met Kamala Harris. Is she a decision maker today? She met Indian diaspora. What's the point? So I think outcome of that was not very satisfactory at all. We did it was good for optics, but it is a complete and total failure of Indian Minister of External Affairs and Prime Minister's
Absolutely.
image.
Yes. In terms of the delegation, it can be called as more of a political delegation than a parliament delegation, because a parliamentary delegation is decided by the Lok Sabha Speaker, and as per the strength of the members of the House, different parties give their own members for to be part of the parliament delegation. So possibly this was more of a political approach to various, sending delegates to various countries without securing appointments, proper appointments with the heads or the dignitaries, head of states. So this is what I see. I will come to the second question. Yeah, can you? Yes, you.
I think no, the embassies must have tried. I mean, it's an embassy job to make sure that our delegation meet highest policy makers, but they did not meet. They chose not to meet, which shows the clout of India, which shows the failure of the Ministry of External Affairs. The way we are isolated in IMF when the Pakistan was given a loan, where Pakistan recently has been made chairman of a group to fight terror. Now, imagine Pakistan, whom we trying to brand as a terrorist state, a state which supports terrorism. Pakistan has been given the responsibility of heading the anti-terror grouping of the Security Council.
UN. Yeah,
it's a complete failure of the Indian policy totally. And not only that, during the war, first of all, I can't understand why the Secretary of the Ministry of External Affairs was doing the briefing. Was he doing the briefing just because the Kashmiri Hindu from that area? Actually, it should have been done by somebody from a defense ministry, because it's the internal affairs, a war. A war is fought by the defense ministry, not by MEA. MEA decides the foreign policy and all that. Why was he briefing it? And secondly, why was he asked to brief about the ceasefire? And immediately after he announced the ceasefire, his family was told it was not his decision. We still don't know who took the decision. During the Kargil war, Prime Minister Bajpayee used to consult CCS, Cabinet Committee on Security, in every single matter. The Cabinet Committee on Security cleared during Kargil war the use of Air Force, and they also put a restriction that you shall not cross the LOC. This is CCS, that is the Cabinet decides that. Did Prime Minister consult the Cabinet or CCS when he agreed to the ceasefire? I mean, this is what should be discussed in a parliamentary debate. I mean, special session for Parliament should be called. We asked for it. but Prime Minister is not agreed to do it, and he's going for a regular session later. We'll do all other things.
One more issue pertaining to the same questions by the government. From the government, opposition is asking that why prior information was given by the EAM to Pakistan before attack, damages, cost to the jets, whether Rafale or otherwise, and what were the terms of the ceasefire? Because the government has not yet clarified on what conditions the ceasefire was obtained. And External Affairs Minister in an interview to ANI was heard saying that we had informed that we'll be only targeting the terror outlets and we will not be touching the military establishment. Now, they have an air defense system. You can't go 150 kilometers inside Bhavalpur and start targeting their hideouts. What do you have to say about that?
I think there are two different questions. One is that when EAM said, External Affairs Minister said, that we have informed Pakistan they're going to target their terrorist infrastructure. I mean, of course, there is enough lead time for the Pakistani defense aircraft to be prepared, to be launched in time, and they were on the element of surprise was completely gone. Firstly, for the terrorists, if at all they were still in those buildings, and after the Pahalgam attack, it was clear that India would go in for some drastic action, and the action would be destroying of terrorist camp as we'd done previously in Balakot and the surgical strike. So do you think they were so naive that they'll continue to stay there? But even if they continue to stay there, if you give an advance warning that you're going to come now, they'll just run away. Even 2-minute warning is enough. We targeted the buildings where they're supposed to have been living, but they could have easily run out if they at all were there. I don't think they were there at all. And so nobody's clear whether any terrorist was killed at all. We say 100 people, Pakistan says 26 people, but there is no proof given by Government of India. So I think was Pakistan military, Pakistan Air Force alerted and they prepared in advance? Element of surprise was gone, and did it cause some damage to our Air Force during the Battle of Seven? That's a question which should be debated according to me. But serious issues have been raised, particularly by Mr. Rahul Gandhi, that they should clear why they did that. I think overall, if you look at the behavior of the External Affairs Ministry, we have been completely isolated in the world. We are friendless today. Even Russia is dealing with Pakistan fully. Pakistan is heading a group to fight terror. I mean, where is the question of pointing finger at Pakistan about the perpetrators of Pahalgam massacre? Did we achieve our objectives? Prime Minister said that we'll hunt out the Pahalgam terrorists and Jameen mein gaad denge or mitti mein gaad denge. What happened? Was that achieved? Now, question of ceasefire is a completely indifferent question. It's a totally big question. Have we given up Shimla agreement where we said that no third-party mediation? That Trump definitely mediated. Either you call Mr. Trump a liar when he says that he negotiated all night, he talked to these persons, gives the names in his tweet that he talked to all senior functionaries. But you want us to believe that two officers, relatively junior officer, a lieutenant general and a major general, talked among themselves and ceasefire happened like a magic. Did they consult the defense minister? Did they consult the CCS, the cabinet committee? Did they got approval from Prime Minister? When did Prime Minister give approval to go ahead and announce the ceasefire? Then who told Mr. Trump if Mr. Trump was not involved in negotiations? That's a breach of secrecy. If what Prime Minister wants us to believe that it was discussed between two DGMOs. No, there are many questions about. Their grapevine says that some conditions have been put in, like handing over the Pahalgam terrorists. Was it agreed to? Even Gomti media, pathetic display by Gomti media when some of the anchors said that Karachi has been captured, Islamabad captured, this destroyed, that destroyed. Mudir, that fellow channel has been arrested, is being brought in. Who did that? Why can't you take actions against those channels which have destroyed India's credibility, insulted our armed forces? Why can't you catch hold of them, shut down those channels for at least 1 or 2 months, fine them physically, personally? Why can't you do that? But it was at the behest of Mr. Modi, who just wanted to show that he has won a great war so that he can win the Bihar election. It's a pathetic question. Pathetic situation. We got many questions, and that is why we're asking for a special dedicated session of Parliament to discuss Pahalgam and to conduct a war and ceasefire.
Right. You have also must have seen the comments by the Air Chief Marshal Amarpreet Singh on the revelations that Indian Air Force has shortcomings. We have 30 squadrons, out of which effective only 22 squadrons probably are working. And Dr. Manmohan Singh's government had already clearly mandated 42.5 squadrons are required for our air defense services. We've seen this 4 day of mini war, much destruction took place. We did not neutralize the air defense system of Pakistan before entering and bombing terrorist hideouts. And apart from that, China, through its AFAC system, through its satellite imagery, has been supporting, in Pakistan and China Air Force have been together for last 20-30 years, and they've been training Qatari Air Force also with Rafale, so they're very well aware of these kind of activity. And also with F-35 Lightning from US and F-22 Raptor, already 195 have been commissioned. 6th generation planes are already there. China already has J-35, and they've test flown J-35 with Pakistani pilots recently, as recent as day 4 yesterday on the Karakoram highway. And J-20 Mighty Dragon 300 has already built up, which is in China's Air Force defense. And we are talking about AWCA, like our medium compact aircrafts, to be functional by 2035. By that time, China would be on 7th or 8th generation stealth aircrafts, which are not detected by radar and all that. So, what I mean to say is that we are already 10 years behind China and behind other countries. In what way are we going to leverage our forces? Because we are too little and too late. That's the term.
The two issues specifically, what the Air Chief Marshal has said, that we are not getting equipment on time, whatever the public sector infrastructure, public sector uh, companies promise us, we're not getting them, whether it's aircraft or whatever hardware. It's a
Right.
fact. Because we have up till now reserved the defense industry only in the public sector, and they are not being uh, made fully autonomous. They're being controlled from bureaucrats from Delhi, and we are seeing that defense budgets are falling as a percentage of our GDP. So that's a serious decision which has to be taken. Why we are not able to complete our commitments given to the armed services in time. That's a serious concern. But now Modi government wants to bring in private sector in a big way. Bringing a private sector is fine because private sector is also quite competent. But if a particular company from private sector is to be favored, and if you're manipulating the environment to just give a particular company, as it happened in the case of Rafael, when Anil Ambagani was being sought to given 60,000 crore odd worth of offset contracts, which of course didn't materialize, company has gone bankrupt. But Modi government did not talk about Rafale at all. There was no discussion either in Parliament. We wanted a JPC, nothing happened. Even Supreme Court behaved in a very, very extraordinary manner when the secret documents were handed over in a closed envelope. That was never opened. I think time will come when we should get into the Rafale contract completely. There are questions being raised upon performance of Rafale. But it's a bigger issue, and I think we don't have enough time to discuss that. But I feel that it was not a battle between the Chinese-made aircraft that Pakistan had and the French-made aircraft that India had. It was a battle of missiles. A missile, Chinese missile versus Meteor missiles, which we procured from France. Now, if the range of Chinese missiles was higher than the Meteor missile, then you could even shoot from a distance of 160 kilometers and not come within the range of the Meteor missiles. So, question of bringing down any Chinese planes, Pakistani planes made in China doesn't arise. So, I think CDS in his interview in Singapore very clearly admitted that there were some mistakes made, and we learned from that mistakes, and we altered our strategy in the Battle of 10th, which we clearly won. We destroyed their infrastructure, the Air Force, we bombed their runways, we bombed their hangars and all that. So the Battle of 7th was qualitatively different than Battle of 10th. And Battle of 7th, there are issues about it, whether our planes were downed by the Pakistani missiles, Chinese missiles, Chinese-made Pakistani missiles, that's a separate issue. But why are the people not allowed to tell the truth? Is Prime Minister Modi afraid of taking the name of Rafale? If he thinks that Rafale was down, it'll be a personal affront to him. because he personally chose that aircraft and bought that aircraft. But I think it's not so much the aircraft as the missiles we should focus on.
I also want to ask you a question as far as foreign policy is concerned. All our old and trusted allies are with Pakistan, whether it's Turkey, Azerbaijan, China. We have a huge import bill of $120 billion. US through IMF, and you recently saw on one day before the chairman of the ADB meets Prime Minister Modi, and 2 days after $800 million clean credit is given to Pakistan. That means even financial institutions are securing loans to Pakistan. What do you see it as Modi's red-eyed diplomacy, strong arms tactic, and blackmail politics? Has it favored foreign policy and diplomacy, or we are way behind now what we were in 2014?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's a complete and catastrophic failure of the India's foreign policy, foreign minister, prime minister, completely. Prime Minister feels that a personal friendship with a leader is equal to foreign policy. That doesn't work out. He went to Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, to eat biryani and see what happened there. He called Trump. He went to China so many times when he was a chief minister, and later on he took him to Ahmedabad and also look what happened. So I think Prime Minister doesn't understand foreign policy at all. That is nothing to do with personal friendship between two leaders. It is about national interest. And every country looks after their own national interest. America looks after their own interest. China would look after their own interest. We should be looking after our own interest. We failed to do that. We stand completely isolated. As seen in the IMF loan to Pakistan issue, we've seen recently Pakistan was made chairman of a group in United Nations, anti-terror grouping. Pakistan is chairing that. Our attempt to brand Pakistan as a sponsor of terrorism has completely failed. We have managed to hyphenate India, Pakistan again. We are confused about nuclear blackmail. Pakistan is not blackmailing India with the nuclear weapons. Pakistan is blackmailing the entire world with nuclear weapons. Prime Minister must understand. No country in the world will like to have a full-fledged nuclear war. I mean, the consequences are huge. So I think he doesn't understand that the equations have changed. And I think there's a complete failure of the foreign policy. And that is why we are demanding a special session of parliament. If need be, let it be a secret session. Let it be closed for outside media. Let only MPs discuss it. There is a provision for that. In 1962 war, the parliament actually demanded with the Prime Minister Nehru that if you don't want to discuss all the details in parliament, please hold a secret session of parliament. Nehru replied saying, no, the entire country is at stake and we cannot keep the people of the country outside and we cannot discuss the secret. So he refused to hold a secret session. If Mr. Modi wants to hold a secret session, let there be a secret session. He doesn't want to address the press. He has not addressed a single press conference in the last 11 years. If you hold all party meeting, he doesn't attend it. What is he afraid of? Why is he not holding parliament session? I mean, see, you take any war, you take 1948 incident where Kabaili, the Pakistanis invaded Kashmir that time. That time there was no parliament. There was a constituent assembly. But Prime Minister Nehru, who was an interim Prime Minister, addressed the constituent assembly to tell the constituent assembly, and through constituent assembly, Pakistan and the rest of the world, that's how do you want to solve the Pakistan problem, the Kashmir problem. We don't want to, we cannot solve it with force, and therefore why we are sending our troops there every single day. In 1962 war, young Atal Bihari Vajpayee, a first-time MP of Jansangh from Gwalior, made a powerful speech in Parliament and told Mr. Nehru to hold a special session of Parliament. Nehru held a special session of Parliament on 8th November 1962. And examples galore. When in Kargil war there was no Parliament because Parliament was dissolved, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee was an interim Prime Minister. There was a demand. Atal Bihari Vajpayee held 2 all-party meetings for senior leaders. There were no MPs. And in the first meeting, the then DGMO, made an audio-visual presentation about the Kargil situation. It's about taking people into confidence. Only then the country will stand behind you. What is Mr. Prime Minister Narendra Modi afraid of? Why is he not interested in discussing? I don't understand. We have questions about ceasefire. What conditions? We already given up Simla agreement, where we said that there will be no mediation at all. We accepted a mediation. What role did Trump play? How did he twist your arms? Was it trade or was it something else? You want to ask questions? The questions are being raised on international media.
I
The
agree
Prime
with
Minister
you. There are lots more than the business or a lot more than the business or commerce which is playing on the mind of Prime Minister Modi, that he's not able to do things the way a Prime Minister chair should do. My last question to you would be that report suggests that the NCP Sharad Pawar is not so in favor of calling for a special parliament session, and also report suggests that he's softening its stand via BJP might join the government once two NCP factions reunite in a few months' time. You would call it just a rumor, or there is something cooking?
No, no, I think, see, NCP Sharad Pawar Group is a alliance partner in Mahavikas Aghadi. He is a colleague in the alliance here. He has made some revelations in an interview given to a journalist from Delhi, where he said that younger elements in his faction are willing to merge with Ajit Pawar. And he says, let the younger leadership take a call. So he's not, in principle, against this kind of idea of coming closer to NDA. Whether he'll actually join NDA or become a minister, somebody from his family becomes a minister in NDA, I don't know. Because looking at his 50 years of political career, he's always fought against the communal forces, which were by the Phule Shahu Ambedkar tradition. Now, at the fag end of his political career, will he join the communal forces? I don't know. It is for him to decide. As long as he's with us, we'll fight the forthcoming local bodies elections in as Mahavikas Aghadi. And I wish that he continues his fight of the communal forces, whatever the younger elements of the party want.
Right, sir. We thank you all because I gave you a very short notice and you obliged us by giving us an interview. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Namaskar. Thank you.